Well, hello there, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're safe and well. In this video, I'll be reviewing my Daystate Wolverine R PCP air rifle. So, let's roll those titles. If you've watched any of my other videos, then you may have seen me shooting this rifle before, but today we're going to look at it in detail. So to begin with then, get ready for some gun porn. So, say hello to the wonderful Wendy, my Wolverine R. Now, I don't normally give the inanimate objects that I own names, but in respect for the previous owner, we'll keep the name for this particular rifle and call her Wendy. So, I bought this rifle back in March 2023. From another shooter on the Airgun forum. So let me tell you a bit about the story of me getting this rifle really. Before I owned this Wolverine, I bought an Air Arms Ultimate Sporter 177. I bought it from an RFD. I saw it on Gun Trader and I popped along to the RFD to check it out. And it was such a lovely looking rifle, I decided on the spot to buy it. Came with an MTC Connect scope, which made the deal a little bit more, a little bit better. And so I had that rifle for a while, and I used it. Never shot any HFT courses with it. Used it mostly for hunting, and I did shoot a lot of rabbits with it, but was never really feeling it with that rifle. And then one day I'm down the range at Cambridge Airgun Club, and one of the other members there, who had the same rifle as this, offered to let me shoot it. And I picked this rifle up, and immediately that I put it to the shoulder, it was like, you know, a revelation, if you like. It just felt right. And on our range we've got like a bell target. I think it's behind I think it's a 10mm hole drilled in a bit of steel plate with a bell behind it, and it's at 45 yards. So I said to the owner, I said, "Oh, what's your aim point for 45 yards?" He told me. So from the bench on the range, first shot, I rang the bell 45 yards through this 10mm hole. So basically then just fell in love with the Daystate Wolverine, and decided that at some time in the future I would have to own one. And then what happened is on one of the sales section on Airgun forums, I was just having a look through the forum one evening, and I noticed that this rifle was for sale on there at a really good price. It had been up for quite a while. I think it had been up for over a week, and nobody had bought it. And lots of people were commenting that it was you know, beautiful rifle and really good price. So I got in touch with the owner, and I decided to buy it off of him. So you know, I believe that it was destiny. It was meant to be. So what I did is I sold the Ultimate Sporter to pay for this. So let's go through the features then, starting from the muzzle. One thing that I should point out is that this doesn't have the standard shroud on it. If you bought a standard Wolverine, it would have a different shroud, just a plain black shroud, and there would be no moderator. You'd have to buy a moderator separately. The thing is with the standard shroud though, once you put a moderator on it, it considerably makes the gun longer, because the standard shroud is longer. Once you stick the mod on, obviously you've got that extra distance. I mean, for me, I need to shoot, because I shoot a lot in the garden, to stay neighbour friendly. I tend to always shoot with moderators on to lessen the noise. So I bought this shroud with the rifle. This is an aftermarket shroud and moderator made by a company called Hug-It. I believe that these are not an off-the-shelf item. I believe you have to order these, and these are made to order. We'll talk a little bit more about the shroud later, because that's quite important. So we've got Hug-It moderator and the Hug-It shroud. Carbon fibre bottle to keep the weight down. This is 480cc or 0.48 litre. Now, I did do a shot string on this. From a 210 bar fill, I shot this down to 100 bars, and I got 377 shots, and it was still putting out 740 feet per second. So I decided I wasn't going to waste any more pellets just to test how far it would go, because 377 shots on a fill is more than enough for anyone, I think. So that's the bottle then. As you can see here, walnut stock, beautiful bit of walnut here. I think they call this tiger. I mean, look at this, just a fantastic bit of wood. I mean, this is like a piece of art, this rifle. You know, you could stick this on the wall and just sit and gaze at it. That's what I think anyway. It's a regulated rifle. This is should have said this is 177 caliber. Sub 12 foot-pound rifle. It's a regulated rifle. It's got a humour reg, and the regulator is set on here to 110 bars, which was why when I did the shot string, I was surprised when I dropped below the reg pressure, it was still shooting, you know, pretty good at the same power that it'd been shooting all along. What else can we say about it? Oh, yeah, okay. Action, side lever action, very smooth. Little bit of a pull to cock it, but when you push the side lever forward with a pellet, you don't feel the probe pushing the pellet in. It's just so smooth, goes in. I think you can decock it. No, you can't. No, you can't decock it. So, gun's empty. So, and see here, you've got single. If I pull this back again, you've got single shot loader. Goes in with magnets, and there's two little pins that sit in there to hold that in place. If I can get it back in there. Have I got it around the right way? Yeah, got it around the wrong way. So that sits in there nicely. Same as my S400, I do find, I mean, I haven't got sausage fingers. I do find that it can be a little bit fiddly to get the pellet in there and make sure it's the right way round. But say once you get used to it, it's not too bad. So push this, as I say, again, the rifle is unloaded. You've got manual safety on the on the back that is not automatically set, so that's good. Did come with a magazine, very easy to use magazine. Basically, you've got this this sort of like locking mechanism underneath the mag. So every time you take a shot, a pin and reload, a pin comes up and pushes that, and rotates the mag on a spring. So basically, you turn this. Oh, no, I got it the wrong way around. Basically, you put a pellet in, rotate it to the next one, put a pellet in, rotate it to the next one, put a pellet in, until you get to the end, and then every time you take a shot, it clicks and rotates automatically. So very easy to load the mag. That being said, I haven't actually used a magazine on this rifle, purely and simply because if you look here, you can see that, you know, with this, I'm using a Hawk Touch compact scope, and there just simply isn't room to put the magazine in. But with a normal scope on normal mounts, you know, the scope would be positioned so that you should be able to get the magazine fine. But so far I've only used this for target shooting and for HFT, so it's not really been an issue for me. Mention the bottle. Charges up to, normally maximum charge up to 250 bars, but one of the unusual things about these is that each individual gun has a little sticker on the breech. If you go back and look at when I was doing the panning shots, you'll see by the serial number there's a little sticker, and that actually gives you the maximum charge for the particular rifle. So I think what they do is they test these individually. I've seen these stickers on other Wolverines, and the pressure's been different to mine. So on mine, it's giving a maximum pressure of 240 bars. But to be honest, since I did the shot string at 210 bars, you get so many shots from it. I've never charged it above 200 bars. You know, 200 bars has been fine for shooting comps and time on the range. So that's what I've done. Right, the trigger, fully adjustable trigger with a sort of, as you can see there, a match trigger shoe, and that's adjustable up and down. It rotates, and I think looking underneath, I'm pretty certain that you can probably move the trigger backwards and forwards as well, because there are separate holes in there. But I'm you know, don't hold me to ransom for that. Feel place is on the underside, protected by a magnetic cap. Because this fill probe is inset into the stock, you need an extended fill probe that comes with the rifle to fill it. If you do use a normal one, you can't get your fingers in to actually pull the collar back to release it. So the first time I tried it and didn't realise, I had to get a pair of tweezers around the outside to pull the collar back. So just use the extended one that comes with the rifle. What else can we say about it? Okay, well, you've got a combination of thumb hole stock, but also you've got the thumb up position there and a nice thumb up rest, and it's an ambidextrous stock, so it's exactly the same for left and right-handed shooters, which is good. Coming back then, what haven't we talked about? Just to the end really. One thing as well on this is that the butt pad is fully adjustable, as well as going up and down. It also rotates from side to side, so you can adjust it to nicely fit in your shoulder, which, as you can see here, is what I've done there to get it cranked over to the side a bit. Nice bit of stippling for grip at the front and on the pistol grip. Really is a very comfortable, satisfying rifle to shoot. So let's have a talk about the Shroud and the Moderator then. Okay, so I've unscrewed the Moderator just to show you this. This is the standard shroud that comes with the rifle. As you can see, it's a half UNF fitting that goes on the end there. but if I offer this up actually on the rifle and then put the mod on the end, you can see the difference in the, you know, from, where are we? From there, it's probably 3 or 4 inches longer on the barrel. So, you know, certainly for HFT shooting in the woods and stuff, I just find it more convenient having the shorter shroud, so that you're not catching the barrel on everything. But you know, it swings and roundabouts, and one of the things that I've found with using this Hugget moderator, this is only an issue if you've got the Hugget on here, and for most people, you know, this shroud and this mod are great. Okay, when they're fitted to the rifle and they're stable, works great. But one thing that I've found myself in particular from experience, only shooting this with HFT, if you're only shooting targets and you know you've got no chance of constantly sort of catching the barrel, or if you're constantly taking the gun in and out of a bag while you're going around the course, then you won't have an issue with it. But just want to make you aware of my experience with this. And what it is the because the Hugget shroud is not the same internal diameter all the way along, it comes with its own collar that clamps with 2 grub screws onto the barrel. See, the here is the factory one is still in the shroud here. So this is the factory one, and the factory shroud is a constant internal diameter all the way through. There's no restrictions through there at all. So you know, this goes on the this would normally be on your barrel, and this will be attached with a couple of grub screws. But what I've found, oh, and another thing I should mention as well is with the standard, because it's a constant diameter all the way through, it has this like spacer that fits at the top end of the barrel, and this has also got grub screws, and that is the same as the internal diameter with an O-ring, so that the shroud is supported both at the rear and at the front, so it can't move. Okay. The difference between that and the Hugget is that you can't use that spacer because of the different internal diameter. If you put that spacer on, you can't actually fit the shroud to the barrel, so you can't use that. So what happens, and I don't know if you can see this from here, but the barrel is floating inside that shroud, and the shroud is only attached to the collar at the back end by the 2 grub screws. Okay. Now what happens then is when you fit this moderator on, the moderator doesn't screw to the barrel. The moderator only screws to the shroud, and there's an O-ring in there that is supposed to act like the spacer and stop the movement. But what I found from my experience is that when you screw that back on, although it feels quite secure, it isn't actually, the way that it's set up doesn't actually stop the shroud completely from moving. So if you are putting this in and out of a gun bag all the time, or you catch the shroud on the mod on something, what it tends to do is it tends to loosen the collar at the back end there, and this goes loose, and then you have point of impact problems, which obviously if you're trying to shoot a competition is not good. So what I did, or what I've done to alleviate that problem, is to engineer myself a little 3D printed collar. It's got air holes in it to allow the air to circulate through the shroud, and I've just made that and measured that to get it an exact size, so that that is a push fit on the end of the barrel there. As you can see, I've put that in there, you've got the spacer in there, and that provides the support to stop the shroud moving around, and that solved my point of impact issues. So I did find that I was, before I sorted that out, I was struggling a little bit with wondering why I was missing some shots in comps with this. Now you're probably saying, oh, why were you shooting that in comps? Don't you shoot Springer with HFT? Yeah, well, what the situation was, at the back end of last year, I completely lost confidence with my Springer shooting, and basically my scores dropped off a cliff. And the harder I tried and rectify the situation, the worse my scores got, and my confidence just plummeted. And talking to some other HFT shooters that are a lot better than me, they suggested, look, put the Springer away, get a PCP out, and prove to yourself that you can still shoot, because you won't have the same problems with a PCP that you're probably having with a Springer, with the hold and everything. I mean, with a Springer, with a PCP, you lock it into the peg. It is a lot easier to shoot more consistently than a Springer ever is. So what I did is, for the first 6 months of 2023, I actually shot a PCP, and I was shooting in the vets class in HFT, which is for over 60s, and I was shooting predominantly with the AS400, but I did shoot a couple of rounds of the league with this rifle, and I ended up winning the league, and then switched back to the Springer to shoot the second half of 2023 with the Springer, and ended up winning that league as well. So last year I had a pretty good year. I won the first 6 months league in vets with a PCP, and I won the second 6 months league with a Springer. So not bad result, really. So so that's my issue with the with the Hug It Shroud. As I say, if you're using the standard one, you won't have that issue, and it's not a problem. And if you've got a Hug It Shroud and you're just taking it to the range, taking it out of the bag, then you probably won't even notice that. This was a peculiarity of mine that I found became an issue because of the way that I was using the rifle. There we go then. Oh, one more thing in case you're wondering, the moderator on this barrel is the Hug It Snipe moderator. I think it's the Snipe, in case you wondered. I missed that out. Right, so what is this rifle doing power-wise then? Well, the last time that I did a chrono test with this rifle, and I'll put the results up on the screen and we'll go through them. It was averaging at 771.4 feet per second, which is 11.15 foot-pound. So nice power level, well within the legal limits, and no problems if I decide I want to use different weight pellets. No chance of going over 12 foot-pound on that. The spread was 12.1 foot-pound, and the standard deviation was 3.4. So you'd expect those to be low. I mean, it's a regulated rifle, but one thing to bear in mind with that is looking at those figures. It's still, when I think back to the figures that I get for my S400, I think the S400 is sort of like spread of 8 and standard deviation of 2 something. So you can see in comparison how good that is, compared to a regulated rifle. But that being said, with that spread and standard deviation, no problems. The scope that I've got on here at the moment, as I think I said, this is the Hawk Touch compact scope. This is the zero eye relief scope, and this, unlike some other zero eye relief scopes, this is definitely zero eye relief. I've tried this on a Springer, and you definitely can't use this one on a Springer. Others like the MTC Connect, they say they're zero eye relief, but they're actually, eye relief is actually sort of like, you know, between 1 and 3 centimeters. So, you know, there's a little bit of play there, and you could use that on a Springer, but certainly this one you can't use on a Springer. So what we're going to do now then, I mean, it was, looking out the window this morning, you would have thought that it had snowed with all the frost. It was white with frost, and there were ice crystals up on the outside of all the windows in the conservatory. So it is pretty cold outside, but I'm going to wrap up as warm as I can, and we'll get out there and we'll shoot a few pellets. We'll set up at 35 yards and see how it goes. Here we are then out in the cold. Actually, the clear sky, clear blue sky, the sun's shining, and where I am at the moment sitting in the sun, that's offsetting the temperature a bit, so it's not too bad as long as I keep out the shade. Anyway, got the wonderful Wendy to shoot. As usual, we're shooting JSB exact 8.4 pellets, 8.44 pellets, straight out the tin, nothing done to the pellets. So I've just put the ones back. If there's any with a deformed skirt, I'll put them back. One thing actually that I didn't think to mention before, whenever you've seen me shoot out here, I'm always I never thought to mention it actually, but I always shoot a 10 times mag. I know it's probably target shooting and stuff is probably easier at a higher mag, but the way that I look at it, I use 10 times mag when I'm in the competition all the time, so why not get my eye used to seeing everything at 10 times magnification at all these ranges. So I mean this scope goes up to 12 mag, but I'm just going to leave it on 10 mag. Okay, we've got a bit of a breeze from right to left, so I'm expecting there might be a little bit of drift from the pellet. Shooting at 35 yards, so rifle's zeroed at 25 yards, so I'm using my 35 yard holdover point, which is roughly half mil dot. I had to take my glove off so I can put the pellets in, so hopefully my hands won't get too cold. Right, first one then, get comfortable on the seat. Oh, I said I was going to use my holdover, and I just shot that first pellet with crosshairs, so please excuse me. I'm not going to start again from scratch. I'll start again with the first pellet and use the holdover this time, so just ignore that first shot. What am I like? Oh. Yeah, a little bit of drift on that one. Ooh, what's that? Something fell over at the back there. We'll ignore that. Distractions, concentrate. That's the second. That's 3. The last 2 didn't drift at all. Four. And the last one. 5. So you can see how quiet the this Hugget Snipe Moderator is with the Shroud on. Very good bit of kit, that, very good. I'd go so far to say that it, especially if you like to bling up your rifles, it's an essential add-on for the Daystate Wolverine. Right, so that's 5 shots. Before we take the target in and have a look, what we'll do is have a go at a couple of HFT targets at 35 yards and perhaps some little spinners while we're out here. I mean, it would be rude not to, wouldn't it? So let me go and reset the target up down there, and I'll be back and we'll have a go at those, see how we get on. Oh, we're back then. Now what I've got set up down the bottom there, I've got 2 flop over targets. On the right is my 20mm bird. On the left is the 15mm wild boar. And then after we've shot that, we'll have a go at the spinner that's up on the top left, which is a 10mm spinner, and say falling in at 35 yards. So 20mm bird to begin with then. Oh, that wasn't very well. I think we need to go and set that up again, stop it from falling over, because you're going to think I just plated it. Right, let's try that again, shall we? I had the both the flop over targets resting on bricks, and instead of putting the bricks long ways, I put them on sideways. So obviously as soon as the pellet of that target unbalanced, I've switched them both around now, so hopefully, fingers crossed, shouldn't have another problem. So here we go, let's go again. So first off then, 20mm little bird. That's better. Right, 15mm wild pig or hog or whatever it is that you would call it. And last but not least, 10mm spinner. We can get my rifle up high enough to take aim. That's it. There we go, 3 out of 3. Can't complain about that. So, no concerns really from here about the accuracy of this rifle, certainly at 35 yards. Go and get the paper target, take it inside and look at what we got. Okay, before we have a look at the target then, I just want to show you this measuring gauge that I made, just to prove that I'm not cheating or anything. It's made from an engineering stencil, and I basically drew the circles inside the stencil with an indelible ink felt pen. So it's the actual outside edge of the circles that's a true measurement. So let's have a look, and just to prove to you the measurements as they are. So let me engineer this a little bit. So you can see, look, outside edge is 10mm on that one. Outside edges on that is actually 14mm. Outside edge on that is 20. And outside edge on that is 25. So I'm not cheating when I use this. So let's bring the target in then. Let's zero that in a bit. Yeah, focus that in. Right. So first off, then we've got that that low shot, the one at the bottom there, which was the one when I I said I'd use a holdover and I used my crosshairs. Now I just looked at my holdover chart and I would expect at 35 yards the pellet to drop 15 mil. So if I put this on the target and measure that up, I think you'll agree that that's a 15mm drop. And looking at the grouping then, slightly off to the left, as I mentioned in the filming, that there was a bit of a breeze from right to left, so I expected a little bit of drift, and I didn't compensate for the drift. I basically just aimed at the ball. So that's my 10mm circle. So I think you can see there, they're all easily in that 10mm. So 5 shots inside 10mm at 35 yards. I think we can assume from that wonderful Wendy is still a pretty accurate rifle. Here we are then. Wonderful Wendy doing the business out on the garden range. Now, I think until recently I would have argued that this is probably one of the, if not the best mechanical PCPs, or the most accurate mechanical PCPs you can buy. And by mechanical PCPs I mean, you know, no electrics like an Airwolf or an Alpha Wolf or anything like that. However, I think that mantle is about to be toppled, or has been toppled. I've got another review that I'm going to be doing soon with a new rifle that I bought, which I think is even better than old Wendy here. So look out for that one. So time to put Wendy back in the gun safe. Okay, before we finish then, let's just have a chat about the prices. Now, just had a look on Google, and at the date of posting this video, you can pick up a new walnut stocked Daystate Wolverine R Hi-Lite, which is what Wendy is, brand new for £1,600. There are 2 different colour laminates. I think they do the Forester, which is the sort of like greeny browny one, and a grey one. They'll cost you another £100 more, so that's £1,700 for a laminate stock. And they also do the Wolverine R, the C version, which doesn't have the carbon bottle. It has a steel cylinder, and that is about £150 cheaper than the Hi-Lite. So that's £1,450 new. I've had a look on Gun Trader, and say at the date of posting this video, there are only 2 second-hand guns that I could find. One was a cylinder one, which was up for £750, so that's half the recommended retail price of a new one. And a walnut stocked one which was a proper Hi-Lite like mine, which was £1,200, so basically only about £400 cheaper. So it looks like these Hi-Lites with the carbon bottle hold their money pretty much, so that's good. I hadn't looked at the new price actually for quite a while, because obviously I bought this second hand, and I think looking at these prices I've got a really good deal. That's all I've got for you this time then. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. So bye for now.